Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
With just weeks until the start of the school year, a new twist in the school masks debate. It tops our news tonight at 11. Today, the state's top medical professional said masking students would slow the spread of COVID-19.
And despite her recommendation, there are no plans for the state to issue a mandate at this time.
However, 3 county health departments are going ahead and requiring masks for K through 6th grade students. Mara McDonald, live downtown tonight with more on this. But Mara, I guess none of these health departments that we're talking about is actually in Metro Detroit.
Devin, correct, but we did call around to Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb to get an idea of what their thought process is right now, and all 3 told us the same thing. None of them are considering mask mandates for students right now. To mask or make it optional for the upcoming school year has led to raucous school board meetings and fired up parents on both sides of the issue. The state has made it clear it's not going to issue any mandates despite having the power to do so, and despite Dr. Khaldoun's recommendation that students mask up in the fall.
I'm concerned about what is happening, what could potentially happen with our schools. We have put out and updated our guidance last week and specifically recommended that schools implement a universal mask requirement.
Recommending, but not mandating, leaving it up to the districts to make these decisions, which educators call a cop-out.
We need the health experts to stop pointing fingers at schools and to start stepping up and making decisions themselves of what ultimately are health decisions.
So far, only 3 county health departments, Allegan, Kalamazoo, and Genesee counties, have issued a mask mandate for K through 6 students. Genesee got pushback today, as hundreds of parents protested that decision. Michigan currently has a high rating for community transmission of COVID. The state positivity rate is growing and is currently 7.7%. Hospital beds in use because of COVID at 4%. And the Delta variant is making up 99% of the samples MDHHS has sequenced over the last several weeks.
All it means to me is that they don't want to make these difficult decisions and want to punt this to school superintendents who aren't health experts, and that needs to stop.
Back here live, I think it's important to point out, at least at the school board meetings that we have attended in districts that have opted to go mask optional to start, these school superintendents have said to parents who were pleased with the decision that perhaps you will not be pleased with me 2 or 3 weeks from now if we have to enforce the mask mandate because we are worried about rising cases. We're live downtown tonight. I'm Mara McDonald. Local 4.
Yeah. Okay, Mara, thank you. Meanwhile, President Biden announces new measures, including booster shots for everyone to stop the spread of coronavirus.
President directing the education secretary to use all authority available needed to stop governors who are banning school mask mandates. Biden administration is also going to require nursing home staff be vaccinated in order for facilities to continue getting Medicare or Medicaid funding. And if approved by the FDA, booster shots will be available to Americans starting September 20th. You would be eligible for a 3rd shot 8 months after receiving your 2nd shot.
This will boost your immune response. It will increase your protection from COVID-19. And it's the best way to protect ourselves from new variants that could arise.
Today, Michigan reporting 2,690 cases and 46 more deaths over the past 2 days. State Health Department sharing the positivity rate, which is closely watched, is now over 7% and in fact has increased each of the past 7 weeks.
4 people in the hospital tonight after being hit by a car in southwest Detroit. It'll happen around 6 p.m. near 31st and Jackson. Police say there was a fight that broke out and that led to a driver intentionally hitting 4 people. All were rushed to the hospital and are listed in temporary serious condition. Police are asking anyone with information about the driver to call Crime Stoppers. That number is 1-800-SPEAK-UP.
The only man so far to plead guilty in the plot to kidnap the governor deserves a lighter sentence, according to the feds.
25-year-old Ty Garbin was able to give federal prosecutors an inside look into the discussions and planning that was allegedly just days away from being carried out. Jason Colthorpe live tonight. Jason, they believe his help has really been crucial here.
Tremendously, Kim. And remember, this is the guy who was heavily involved in the surveillance of the governor's vacation home. He hosted training at one of his properties, and the feds believe it's been so valuable, they're willing to give him 8 fewer years in prison for it.
In court documents filed Wednesday, federal prosecutors recommend a 9-year sentence for Ty Garbin, the only person to plead guilty in a plot to kidnap and kill Governor Gretchen Whitmer last October. The feds say Garbin, who's from Heartland, deserves credit for assisting investigators in making cases against the other 5 men charged in federal court. Others have also been charged in state court, 14 in total. The Detroit News, which first posted the story, reports Garbin helped dismiss the idea that the men arrested were victims of entrapment, and the U.S. attorney noted the importance of that. Garbin testified twice, providing details on the plan to take the governor at her vacation home, using explosives and more. His guilty plea came in January and calls for a 17.5-year sentence.
But again, they're asking the judge to give him just 9 years. Garbin will be sentenced August 25th in federal court in Grand Rapids. Reporting live, Jason Colthorpe, Local 4.
Following it, Jason, thank you. A Detroit man is charged with killing the mother of his child. The body of 20-year-old Brandy Nelson of Detroit was found back in March at a home on Drexel near Dickerson and East Warren. She was reported missing 2 weeks before she was found and had just become a mother a few months before she was killed. Well, now 46-year-old Juma Reeves is charged with first-degree murder. He's also accused of tampering with evidence.
President Joe Biden committing tonight to keeping U.S. forces in Afghanistan until all American citizens who want to leave are out of the country. But in an interview with ABC News, he stopped short of making that same commitment to the United States' Afghan partners.
We're going to do everything in our power to get all Americans out and our allies out.
Does that mean troops will stay beyond August 31st if necessary?
It depends on where we are and whether we can ramp these numbers up to 5,000 to 7,000 a day coming out. If that's the case, they'll all be out.
Because we've got like 10,000 to 15,000 Americans in the country right now, right? And are you committed to making sure that the troops stay until every American who wants to be out is out?
Yes.
The president also said in the interview he did not see a way to withdraw from Afghanistan without, as he put it, chaos ensuing.
Tigers color commentator Jack Morris wasn't on tonight's broadcast after being suspended indefinitely for a comment he made during last night's game about Angels star Shohei Ohtani. Bally Sports released a statement saying Morris will be undergoing bias training. The Tigers also releasing a statement supporting the decision to suspend the Hall of Famer. Here's what manager A.J. Hinch had to say before tonight's game.
So I got told about it last night after the game, and obviously I support the both comments by Bally and by our organization that there's no place in the game for it. You know, I love this sport. The sport is arguably the most diverse sport, and certainly all the 4 major sports here in the U.S., and it should be celebrated.
Ohtani was asked about the comments after the game, saying he did see the footage and that he was not offended and didn't take anything personally. Still ahead, a Texas school district makes face coverings mandatory for students despite a statewide ban on mask mandates.
How the small school district is getting around the governor's order in the Lone Star State. Coming up, here's Paul.
I'll tell you what, Devin, we started the day with a very muggy 69 degrees, got up to 83 degrees. The bad news is that these lows aren't going to be dropping a whole lot the next few days. The bad news is that these highs will be rising the next few days. We'll talk about when this stuff is going to get out of here, and you better get used to it. It's going to be here for a while. We'll do that in just a few minutes.
And Paul will stay with weather and its impacts. Last week's storms caused a utility pole to lean dangerously close to a family's home.
I made a report to DTE, and the next day it didn't seem like anything was going to get done anytime quick.
Got tired of waiting for the utility company, so he made sure his house was protected. Next.